This show is sponsored by PowerfulWomenUSA.com, a place to be inspired by other women. Hey everybody, I'm Jill Conway, and this is Secrets of Powerful Women, a show dedicated to celebrating and supporting strong and successful women and sharing their stories. I'm hoping that you will be inspired to pursue your own dreams, reclaim your voice, and discover your strengths. So my guest today is Nicole Bowyer. She is founder of the luxury athleisure clothing line called Coco On The Go. So Nicole, thank you for being here, and thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited.
Oh, me too. I mean, it's so interesting. I have so many different women in different career paths that come on, and I find your story so great because you really started grassroots level. So tell for everyone who's listening, what is Coco On The Go? Describe that brand for me.
So Coco On The Go, I launched over 10 years ago now. It's an athleisure brand. On one of my trips to South America, in particular Brazil, I loved how women walked with such confidence, whether they were 200 pounds or 280 pounds. They wear thongs and midriffs and just really rock their bodies. And I really wanted to bottle that up and bring it back to the US and create something that really empowered women throughout their day. And it's an athleisure brand, so it's really pieces that are transitional, that you can wear either dressed up, that you can wear to a bar class, to a bar. I have a beautiful one piece, several of them now, but when I first started, I have this one piece that women I would see wear in Las Vegas with heels and boots. And then I would be in a spin class and someone else would have it on in front of me spinning away. So it's really those transitional, amazing pieces. And one of the biggest feedback I get from my line is that, oh God, I hate wearing your stuff to a workout class because I really try to save it for special occasions or, my days off of running errands.
You're like the China, right? The special China, like, you know what? We're going to save this for a special occasion.
Yes.
So were you always interested in fashion?
I was. So when I was in high school, actually even before that, when I was little, my grandma had like a huge studio that she would do arts and crafts in. And I would always design my own doll clothes, and she would teach me how to sew. And actually recently, I think like a year ago, she showed me a pair of jeans I had sewn. They were terrible, but it was really cute. I'm like, oh, this is where my passion, you forget.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is where my passion began.
Yeah.
And then in high school, I would have my own sketchbook and I would do designs. And my dream was to go to FITM. And then
what is FITM for everyone?
FITM is a fashion design institute. Instead of like a USC, you would go to an institute to learn all the ins and outs of the industry. And instead I did the business route. I went to USC. I studied international relations. So by the time I got to college, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll work for the UN and travel the world. But I always had this passion in the back of my mind. So when I had graduated USC, I worked for a pharmaceutical company and during the day. And then I actually waitress at nights and the weekends. And then I used my first bonus from my pharma company to launch my first round of samples. And so I worked 3 jobs basically. And then I didn't know, because I didn't go to FITM, how the fashion industry worked. And I would go to the library, check out books. I would Google. I would do everything I could to just figure it out and learn it on my own while I worked my other jobs. And then eventually I was able to drop my pharmaceutical company. And then I was able to drop my waitressing job and then focus solely on my current business, Coco On The Go.
Wow. I mean, first of all, to go from pharmaceuticals, right? Where people like, because sales is very tough. Were you in sales or you were?
I was on the clinical trial side, actually. So I would make sure that our protocol was according to FDA regulation. So yes, it's completely opposite. You have one side that is, it's just completely different.
Yeah. So how did you deal with the doubts, right? Because when you're in pharmaceuticals and in that kind of, or any career, right? And you went to school and you did all the things. And then, you're like, oh gosh, but you feel like you kept feeling this calling, like to gravitational pull towards fashion. And then what did you, go ahead.
Oh no. So when I was on my trip to South America, I saw these women, and I grew up, I just lacked so much confidence. I grew up being bullied. I remember when I was going through puberty, the boys would make fun of me and say the only reason why I had boobs was because I was fat. So I was a girl that would go be at the beach with a towel around me, and I would run to the ocean line and like toss the towel back so no one could see me in a bathing suit. And so for me, it was just such a to be again in Brazil, to see these women just not even care, that just really love their bodies, it was just so empowering to me. And so when I started my company, I really wanted to bring that to people. So a lot of the fabrics I chose, they were thicker, they're woven, higher end jacquard fabrics. And I really loved how women did feel confident when they wore them. And that's the feedback I got back, which was so rewarding for me. But to go from, again, a pharmaceutical company to that, it was, I don't know. I think when you really want something, you just don't think about it. And I did have a lot of self-doubt when I would see the market and what was popular then, which was a Lululemon price point or Gap. And then my self-doubt would come in and be like, God, someone's going to choose a Gap over me because it's a lower price point. And then my mom was, my biggest advocate. She's like, Nicole, you don't get the same fabric. You source from smaller manufacturers in South America. They're not, Gap goes to China, that's not the same fabric. I'm like, I know. And then you would see Lululemon, like, okay, well, how am I going to get somebody who loves Lululemon to buy mine as well? So you start navigating, and you just kind of have to keep pushing that behind you and go off of the positive feedback that you're getting from the women that are your buyers and your fans, and that keep coming back season after season, and kind of shut off the noise.
I feel like that's the hardest thing, though. I feel like, for everybody who's, has a dream or whatever, to just like, just shut that negative voice up. And because the doubts creep in, or the people that mean well, and like, do you really want to do this? Who's going to buy it? Type of thing. Did you struggle with that?
I did. Yes, I completely did. And it's luckily, again, because I had such great feedback from my customers, that is what kept me going. One of my first events I did was with the Irvine Company, and they did a big health and wellness expo. And I remember I set up my rack, my table, and I sold out of 85% of my inventory. And I thought, okay, I think I have something. So I just kept using that momentum to build upon itself.
Wow.
And people that would come to buy would say, wow, this is so different. Like, I love that you're not just a flat fabric. Now, fast forward, I do have like a more athletic portion to it that is like the flat fabrics. And my stepdaughters, for example, they're younger, they're in their early 20s, teenage years. And when I came out with the flatter fabrics, like, this is the best you've ever done. And like, it's like,
Wow.
this is really cheap fabric that I'm just, but I'm glad you love it,
Right, right.
I created a lower price point for more of the gyms, the spin studios that wanted Coco, but wanted something that was basic that everyone would love.
Yeah. Where did you get the name from? What inspired you?
My nickname growing up was Coco, and I was reading a graduation card actually when I was trying to figure out a name for my company, and one of my mom's best friend used to watch me. It said, to my little cocoa bean. I was like, oh, Coco on the go, for the woman on the go. And then my dad always used to complain. He's like, you're just like your mom. You're always on the go. I'm like, oh, that actually works. I am always on the go. So
Wow. That's very cool. That's very cool. So talk about, because you mentioned it a little bit. So when you first had the idea and you started sketching for people, because I don't know, at that point, where do you find fabrics? Do you go, to the, like New York City, the fashion district, and you look for there? Like, how do you even begin to do that?
So first I went to downtown LA and I couldn't find the fabric I was looking for. And then I booked a trip back to Brazil because I'm like, okay, that's where I fell in love and got inspired. So I drugged my mom with me, and I researched manufacturers of fabric, manufacturers for sewing. And then we got there. I got on a bus. We went to many towns, and I was so disappointed. I remember we came back at like, I don't know, 7 p.m. at night. And I was like, this is not what I thought. The factories were closed down. I couldn't get into them. It wasn't the envision that I had when I booked the trip. And then on my last day there, I finally found my last resource that I was able to find online. And I went to the building. I went through, there was, I think, 6 or 7 levels, and they were at the very top. So I went from level 1, and I walked every single level until I got to them. And when I found them, like, this is who I've been looking for. So
Wow.
from that, we cultivated a relationship. They really helped me source the fabrics that I was interested in and wanted.
Mhm.
And then from there, I just kept growing and learning and meeting contacts and being able to grow my business. One of the biggest things that my barriers in the beginning were to not pigeonhole myself into just one factory, because I
Mhm.
love them and I work so well with them. But if they were to shut down tomorrow, my whole production would be just
Right.
be
Right.
done. So to be able to have, eggs in multiple baskets, so to speak, so that
Mhm.
you have a running company and you're not, your legs aren't cut off for
Right.
a year from now when your season's trying to launch.
Right, because that happens sometimes for sure.
It
Right.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your first product that you launched of the whole
Got my
line?
Yeah, my first product were these leggings. I remember, I think I called them the Rio leggings, and they were just extra textured and they were reversible. And I did 3 color wavelengths with them. And then I remember when they came, they didn't have my logo on it. And I was like, oh my God, what am I
Yeah.
supposed to sell this with no logo? So
Right.
then I had to go to a local factory here to get logos made. And then they couldn't heat transfer them on in time. So my mom and I got we
I love
got
it.
2 irons and we had our towels out, and I had to heat transfer all like 200 pairs of leggings.
Wow. Wow.
So
That's the living room story, right? I read that. Like you were
I
I
was like,
love it.
And then, so many errors from that. I remember maybe 6 months later when I had my next season, um, the the it's really like basically your blueprint of how you want the fit to be. They
Okay.
completely did the wrong blueprint. They did not do mine, and it looked like my size small was for like a 10-year-old little
Oh,
girl, and it's just my whole production was just ruined. Thank God it was only to one style, but it
oh,
was just learning curves. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So disappointing. And how do you get through how do you handle that stuff? Right.
Yes, especially when
Yeah.
you first start and you're so limited on a budget. Because I
Right.
used my
Right.
first bonus and then I just kept using the money I would make from each pop up or
Yeah.
wholesale order or online order. And so,
Right.
yeah, those mistakes really hurt.
Was there ever a time where you wanted to give up in the beginning?
Yes, yes, there so many times. I I would say even up until 5 years ago, I right before when I was pregnant with my son, I remember thinking, do I really want to keep doing this?
Hmm.
And like building a brand, it's constant work.
Yeah.
Yes, you can eventually get things in place where the brand continues to build on itself, but you still have to be competitive. You still have to rebrand and
Yeah.
restructure. And I just remember being pregnant thinking, how am I going to do it all?
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And many times from the mistakes of my second production of the leggings that came bad, and
Mm.
thinking, how can I financially keep doing this if what if the next shipment comes,
Right.
or
Right.
it is a lot.
And then did you build it online or you kept doing these shows?
I did it all. I did online building. I did shows after shows after shows. I
That's which
did
is exhausting. I mean, that's
Oh,
exhausting in itself.
it
Yeah.
is. I
Yeah.
know a lot of people will reach out and ask if I do pop-ups. I'm like,
Mm.
oh
Mm.
no. Yeah.
I don't want that kind of work. No.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I really
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Although, I don't know if you ever did one in the Hamptons, but that would be a good idea.
it would be. I will have to send my sales rep and then
Yeah. 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 Well,
yeah.
was that your first child? How many kids do you have?
I have one,
Oh,
and
okay.
then my husband has 4 daughters.
Oh, God bless. Wow. Okay,
Yes,
that's big
yeah.
extended family.
It's a
Yeah.
big family. Yeah.
Yeah. So so when you became a mom for the first time, how did you juggle it all? I mean, that's another hiccup in the where you're like, how can I do this? And because people can I tell you, I remember I was a TV news reporter for years and I was working in New York City at the time and I got pregnant and I just thought, right, like it was just like, oh, it's going to be so easy. What do you mean? I'm not
Uh-huh.
going to stop. I'm not going to change my life. I'll just keep going. And boy, oh boy, does everything change, right? So what happened with you?
I thought the same thing. I
Yeah.
thought that I could put my son in a little bouncer. I'll be fine. I can work. I thought I truly thought that it's like
Yeah.
this and good to go.
Right.
But no, I was bamboozled for sure. It was
Yeah. Well,
I
we're not taught. That's why we're just not
no,
informed, you know?
no, we're
Yeah.
not. I was very blessed to where I have amazing help. I have my mom. I have an amazing support system. So between my mom and my support system, I was able to work during the day and
Hmm.
have help. But even at that, it's not like it's 24-hour care. So
Right.
usually I would put my son down, especially in the beginning, and then I would have to keep working because
Right.
you have to, you just have to, you don't have a choice. It's either that or
Yeah.
I shut it down and
Right.
figure out a different path. But it wasn't an option either for me. So it's just, I had to use my resources and be very resourceful and
Yeah.
just work when he was asleep.
Oh my gosh. So at what point, and I know you said up to 5 years ago, you were like, oh gosh, do I want this? And I think every entrepreneur does that at some point or often. And like, how bad do I want this? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, something's got to give. So what's gonna
Yeah.
give? Right?
Uh-huh. Yes.
But at what point were you, because now, I mean, at some point, I should ask you
Mhm.
this, what did you start getting the attention of celebrities and things like that?
I would say 5 years ago.
Okay.
I was
Right
so
when you were doubting.
yeah, right. I swear every time I doubt, something else happens. It's really like,
Yeah.
okay, how and I even think too at times like, how would I even unravel this? Like
Mm.
how do you unravel this? And then something else, another big opportunity will come and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, so I'm not meant to.
Yeah.
I keep fighting.
Yeah.
But I'm so sorry. What was the question?
At what point, at that when you started to like the celebrities started to
Oh,
get
yeah.
get the attention of celebrities, I should say.
Yes. So I smartly had hired a PR firm
Hmm.
and that helped me kind of get in the door with
Yeah.
influencers and because again there's only I feel like for me my businesses I really learned to know what my strengths are and what my weaknesses are.
Yeah.
And I am not a very good salesperson. I really not.
Yeah.
When I do, especially in the beginning, when I would do pop-ups, if a wholesale account, I'd walk through the door and try to get them like, oh yeah, no, we're not interested. Like, okay, bye. Where my sales rep's amazing. She'll walk in and be like, oh no, but you actually really need this, and it's just not my personality. So
Hmm.
with social media and marketing and getting in front of celebrities, it's I had to outsource that.
Yeah.
And then one of my really good friends is on the Housewives. So
Oh,
when she got signed 5 years ago, she said, "Will you outfit me?" And I'm like, "Of course I will outfit you." So
wow.
I put her in jumpsuits and in everything I could, whatever they were filming that day, I would
Yeah.
outfit her. But I forgot. Now thinking back, I did get really lucky in the beginning when I would do again these pop-ups. I
Yeah.
had like Gina from the Housewives before I even knew or had a connection. She was buying my stuff at pop-ups, and then I
Oh.
had Heather
And that's
Dubrow.
that was your friend initially, or like
Oh
that became your friend?
no, Heather Dubrow. My friend's Jennifer Pedranti,
Oh, okay.
but
Wow.
the Heather Dubrow and Gina. I was right when I launched. They actually just loved my stuff and stopped and bought it, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. So that
Yeah.
was kind of my initiation into people
Yeah.
just stopping. I remember I used to love. Do you remember Billy Blank's Tybo?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I own it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, uh-huh. I owned all of his DVDs. I was obsessed with his workouts and him. And I remember
Mhm.
I did a Fit Expo years ago, and he stopped in his tracks and he looks at my stuff. He's like, "This is really cool." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." He's like, "No, I need two sets for my wife." And I was like, and then I had to say, I'm like, "I have all of your DVDs." I
Oh my
used to
gosh,
watch
right?
all the
Right.
time.
It's so funny because I don't know if you know, I just had I recorded a show with Debbie Siebers, who is Slim and Six, and
Oh,
she was yeah, and she's created the whole Slim and Six line for Beachbody, but she was also just on the Golden Bachelor. But I totally did a fangirl. I was like, oh my gosh, I still have your DVDs.
uh-huh.
So it was so funny, but she was like, I can't believe that. So I know that moment. I know when you're like, I worked out for you with you
Yeah.
for day after day,
Uh-huh.
like it's so funny. It's like I feel like we're old friends.
Uh-huh. Really, I'm like, I know all of them.
I know, right? It's so funny.
time.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Billy Blanks. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he was great. He was just great. Tony
Uh-huh.
Horton, the whole gang, right?
Uh-huh.
So funny. So you met him. That's cool. And then it just kept growing.
Uh-huh. It did. Yeah, it just kept
Wow.
growing. And again, because a lot of the fabrics and textures I choose are
Yeah.
different, they're eye-catching, and that's kind of the point, is to have a niche in the market that does stand out, that is
Yeah.
different. So it's, again, it's so rewarding when they stop by and like, oh, that's really cool. I need two of those. I'm like,
Right.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad you see it. So I
Yeah.
do really well in higher end spas and boutiques like the Montage. I'm in all of their locations.
Oh wow.
I'm in I don't know, I can't think right now. Bellagio,
Wow.
MGM, um, the Cosmopolitan. So it's those higher end spas and boutiques that are really my niche that I do so well in.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's great. Um, I just want to say because I was looking at your line, obviously, and they're beautiful, they're classic and they're elegant, and yet they're edgy. There's some
Mhm.
pieces that are so edgy and cool.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like I try that. I have that as my personal style as well. I try to be classy but edgy and have a little bit of sex appeal too, but
Yeah.
not. I'm always tried to be a little bit more, I guess, in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you go by like what you like? Like how do you go by like what, or do you think what the trend is going to be? It's so hard.
Yeah, it is really hard. There are designs I've made, and I'm like, I'm so excited for it to come out. I think they're just gonna sell off the shelves, and then they don't move. And
Oh.
I'll do like a huge production of them. And then there's other designs where I'm like, I don't love it, but I know my followers will love it,
Hmm.
and I do a small production of it, and then it sells out right away. I'm like,
Wow.
so,
Wow.
you try to predict as much as you can, but there's only so much, you can. So when I design, I design as if, okay, yes, I love it, but then also the people who have been my fans for so long, what do they
Mm,
love? Will they love this? Is this something that they'll resonate with?
right.
Is it something that they'll want to buy again?
That's
So
cool.
I try to
Yeah.
as I go, but
Right, to envision what they would want, but
yes,
it's still like what your own product is too, right?
yes.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's hard. That's hard. I have never, I think years ago when my Barbies, I tried to like, create different outfits, but I never had the vision that I so appreciate and admire in people where they can say, "Oh, and pull this and pull that." And you're like, "Wow, that's amazing." I never
Yeah.
would have thought that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember those doing that with my Barbies too.
Yeah, right, right. All right, so let's pause here.
Okay.
There's so much more to talk about. We'll be back with Nicole Bowyer after the commercial break. You're listening to Secrets of Powerful Women. Help me get the word out. Share this with your friends because this is so good. We'll be right back. Hi, everybody. I'm Jill Conway. Thank you so much for listening and loving the Secrets of Powerful Women podcast. If you could, please like and subscribe to my channel on Spotify or iHeart, Apple Music, Audible, and YouTube. It will help me expand the show and bring you more incredible women who are inspiring you with their stories. I am so grateful for your support, so thank you. Keep listening and share this with your friends. We're changing the world. All right, welcome back. You're listening to Secrets of Powerful Women. Nicole Bowyer is with me. She's founder of the athleisure clothing line, Coco On The Go. Nicole, I think your story is so awesome because you didn't set out to be a fashion designer. And as fate has a way of always showing up and you start listening to like, what I think Oprah calls the whispers of your soul, you kind of end up where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just kind of follow your path and take opportunities as they come to you.
Mm.
And, doors start opening you didn't realize were even there for you.
Yeah. Was there someone that really helped you along the way that you say, I couldn't have done it without this person?
I would say my mom.
Wow.
She really, she's amazing. I remember I told him, like, I'm going to start my own clothing line. She's like, okay. Like you go from USC business to okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But both my parents, truly. I mean, my dad was an entrepreneur. He worked for himself. So seeing his entrepreneurship did inspire me to want that for myself as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when I would doubt myself, or even still, my mom actually works for Coco right now, and she is the biggest cheerleader and help and advocate. I always thought, I'm like, if you didn't help me, mom, I don't think
Mm.
I think I
Yeah.
would give up.
Oh, no, no.
No,
So,
she's amazing.
so what's the hardest part of starting a business for people listening? Like because now it's been over 10 years, so you're
I would,
seasoned.
yeah, I am seasoned. I would
Mhm.
say just doing it, just not overthinking it. I think our biggest Achilles is our brains. And it's like when you set your alarm at 5 in the morning to go work out, instead of just getting up and going and not thinking, it's when you sit there and think, do I really want to go? God, this is really
Yeah.
comfortable. It's our minds. It's the monkey mind that you just need to shut off and just do it.
Yeah.
And I feel like it does become harder as you get older to get out of your ways,
Mm.
out of your own way.
Yeah.
And I do think starting it when I did was really a blessing too, because I recently I've been, struggling with the monkey mind too.
Mm.
And I started rereading Edgar Tolle, The Power of Now.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I have to stop myself, because
Mm-hmm.
even new adventures I want to do or things I'm creating, I catch myself doubting myself.
Yeah.
And it's really just shutting off your mind and just really listening and being in tune with what the universe is giving you, God's giving you, whatever your
Mm.
beliefs are, and just taking that step forward and going for it.
Oh, I love that. Do you meditate?
I do.
Or
I try.
I know.
I have such a hard time with it. My form of meditation is when I walk. Like,
Yeah.
walking meditation is the best
Mm-hmm.
for me, because it's
Mm-hmm.
really hard for me to sit still.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm
think a lot of people, that's a lot of people. And
yeah,
I don't think it's for everybody. I think, like you said, a walking meditation, sometimes people run and meditate, it's just that when you're alone with your own thoughts,
yeah,
you know?
yes.
Yeah.
And walking. I know a lot of people. Like, I know my husband, for example, loves golfing. For him,
Mm-hmm.
that's his form of meditation, because it's his one way of being able to shut off his mind and just not think.
Yeah.
And for me, it's walking. Just being able to walk and not think
Yeah.
is mine. Sorry.
Yeah. That's okay. A busy entrepreneur, busy, successful woman there. um, so I mean, you try to meditate as you walk every day, or
Yeah.
so how hard is it? And for the women listening who have, young kids and they still want to pursue their dreams, I mean, what would you say to them?
I would say just do it. Just make the smallest steps every day. I think just every even like 5 minutes a day, any
Yeah.
small amount of time. I think every habit builds on top of itself. Whether it's you're trying to lose weight and you can just walk truly 5 minutes a day, just anything to start building momentum.
Yeah.
It just do it. Don't allow your mind or the what ifs or what if I fail,
Mm.
because I believe failure is truly, they're lessons that teach you maybe a different door you didn't even think would open,
Yeah.
or a different avenue within what you want to do that's even better than what you originally thought.
Yeah.
And there's just, I guess the biggest advice is just put one foot in front of the other and do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you there. Um, Talk about, I mean, you spoke about it there, about the power of believing in yourself, but it's, as we said, it's a hard thing to do, and to shut that voice off. Um, I mean, is your mom a positive person? Would you say, is she
Yeah,
your cheerleader? Yeah, you
she
need people like that.
You
Yeah.
do. I really, my husband's my cheerleader. My mom really is, because she is, in the trenches with me, so to speak.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it's, yeah, having surrounding yourself with positive people that
Hmm.
believe in you is huge. And number one, believing
Yeah.
in yourself too.
Yeah.
I think that's number one. And then
Yeah.
being able to take the positive reinforcement around you and just keep running with it.
Yeah. Was there a pinch me moment where you're like, you know what? Like, this is getting pretty big now, you
Yeah.
know?
Yes, definitely. I remember on one of my trade shows, my first trade show years ago, I remember no one coming up to my booth. and being like, it's basically a trade show where all the big retailers come in from like Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus that want to
Mm,
carry your line.
mm,
And, I'd have small boutiques come up and just being like, oh, okay, and I remember losing money on it.
mm,
And then the next year I broke even. And then the next year I made money. And then the following year I got my first huge account.
right.
And then it just building on itself was like, I
Yeah.
remember when that huge wholesale account came, I remember thinking, oh my God, I can't believe this just happened.
Yeah.
And I looked at my sales rep and I'm like, do you think we still had a meeting, I think, with Montage next? And she's like, Nicole, we're going to do great. And I was like, yeah, but lightning doesn't strike twice. And she's like, what are you being negative for? This isn't you. And then
Yeah.
we got the big Montage account. And I was like, oh,
Oh
it
my
was,
goodness.
yeah, it was an amazing momentum as every trade show comes. It's just like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm here.
Well, and for people who think, oh, it was an overnight success, because I'm sure people look at you and be like, oh, I'm sure it was just happened so quickly because the clothes are so good.
No, it took forever. I mean,
Yeah.
to convince somebody to spend over $100 on a pair of leggings that
Yeah.
they love Lulu and they prefer just to go to a Lulu or an Aloe.
Yeah.
It's hard because you're converting people that have their following and what they love to try something else, try something
Yeah.
they might like better or the same.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's definitely hard to build that brand.
Yeah. Do you have brick and mortars, or is it mostly online? Like, where I know you said there's some
Yeah.
places you sell it, in person.
So I have about 230 retail stores that carry my line, but no brick and
Wow.
mortars yet. My
Right.
goal for next year would be to have my first brick and mortar.
Woo.
And then yes, and then my full online store.
That's great. I mean, you
Mhm.
can't beat that, right? And you get it in all the right hands, because
Yes.
oh, I feel the nerves like bubbling up with a brick and mortar for sure, because then you have rent and you worry
Yeah,
about, yeah, yeah,
employees and over yeah, there's so
yeah,
much to manage. Yes.
yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot. So that's part of your growth. Do you start to put together the plan so much far in advance, like how many months for the next year or 2 years or something?
Yeah, I would put the plan together basically now for a year from now
Yeah,
of
yeah,
of doing a brick and mortar.
yeah,
And I have friends who have big retail brick and mortars and they're like, it's a lot.
yeah,
Again, it's that self-doubt, like, do I really
yeah.
want to do that?
Right.
It's like having another child, basically. Like, do I want to take on that responsibility? Do I not? Will it, be
Yeah.
a financial flop? Will
Right.
I just have so much self-doubt that comes into
Yeah.
that for every level you're trying to reach.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that you've achieved so much success. I mean, in relatively short time. I mean, that 10 years, I think, it's still such a short time, considering you have brands around for, you know,
Yeah.
60, 70, 80. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I will. And especially when I first launched 10 years ago, wasn't my sole job. It took years for me to
Yeah.
drop each job to just concentrate on that. It was a
Yeah.
very grassroots approach where I literally had my inventory in these big rolling containers under my bed and in my apartment in Laguna Beach. So it was very, very grassroots.
Oh, I love that. Do you have a designer that you're particularly inspired by? Or no? You
Oh
did.
gosh. That's a good question. There's so many clothing designers that I
Yeah.
love,
Yeah.
like Alice and Olivia. I love how they're a little bit funky and
Mhm.
fashion.
Mhm.
And then Rag and Bone, it's a little bit more like cool East Coast vibes.
Mhm.
But no, I have so many. I have like a handful I just love. Veronica
Yeah.
Beard. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. How much for next year, right? So you're already how does that work for fashion? You're already a season or two ahead. Like, what are
I,
you designing?
right now I am sourcing my fabric for spring, summer of next year.
Okay.
I've shot fall, winter of 2025, and then
Yeah.
I'll be shooting spring in what basically like January of the
Okay.
following year.
Mhm.
So I'm always a year ahead.
And then how do you pick the colors and stuff?
Um, there's different websites you can look at
Okay.
to see what might be trending then,
Yeah.
and you kind of just go with what you hope, and then but
Yeah.
also like what color palettes have inspired me. What is what is the inspiration behind each collection.
Right.
Like one season I did my inspiration of where I grew up, which was San Clemente, California. So I did a lot of like blues and beach tones, and more of like that like laid back beach vibe.
Yeah.
And then then when I lived in LA, I had like more of a city like
Mm-hmm.
brick, not brick tones, but more of that like city sleek vibe. So it just really is whatever the inspiration is, and then also what palettes of fabric I get in that can kind of pull some inspiration and what colors I want to go with, and then again just hope that it's trending.
It's such a crapshoot. I didn't realize that. I felt like I thought like everyone gets together and was like, okay, like this is the colors, but
Yeah.
not. That
Yeah,
doesn't.
like this past summer was, the powdered yellow.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I had these like I had a beautiful powdered yellow jackets and then a brighter yellow set for summer. So luckily, I got that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
And green made a huge comeback. That green. I don't know if it's still carrying. I don't know, but
yeah,
yeah.
everywhere still right now. Yes, the
And
emerald, and
that's
I had that too. Yeah, there are, things that you can look at for trending and they are pretty on, but then you also
yeah.
want it to make sense with what collection you're trying to create.
Yeah. How often do you go to Europe, or do you still to see inspiration? Because they're always, I feel like they're always a year or two ahead of us.
I know.
Yeah.
I God, since I have had my son, I try to pull from my online
Hmm.
resources,
Hmm.
just because it's so much harder to go
Travel.
places. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he's at the age. The first year was a lot easier to travel with him because
Mm.
he's just take,
And a car seat or
yeah.
that little.
And then he became opinionated, and now he's
Yeah.
like me, where he doesn't sit still. So now it's just a nightmare.
Oh, how old is he?
He's 4.5 now.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
They're high maintenance. They're definitely high maintenance.
I'm taking him to Hawaii in a couple weeks, and I'm not looking forward to the 6-hour flight. That's
Yeah.
gonna be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Oh, this like take lollipops and everything. And,
I know,
oh,
right? Everything for
for,
bribing.
yeah. And I'm sure he'll be good. I'm sure he'll be good. So I wanted to ask, I know like what are the lessons that you look back on that you learned early on that, that were so important to you?
Gosh, so many lessons, really.
Mm.
Some of them having to do a lot with influencers. I would give product away to so many people that would promise to post that wouldn't post, or their followers were primarily male. And so that's not a great demographics. I would see, a beautiful girl and she's, half naked in all her things and she's so fit, like that's a
Hmm.
perfect fit. And then
Hmm.
it's not,
Right.
so, or my pattern making. So I took pattern making classes to make my own patterns,
Wow.
and then I would send them to my factory, and then just the follow through, making sure,
Mm.
samples are done correctly and that the sample is going to actually be what is in production. So having more of that hands-on approach just really helps, and
Right.
working with a manufacturer that you trust. Yeah, I
Mm.
remember I was trying to create that flatter, more aloe Lululemon fabric, and I sourced some from China, some from Pakistan, some from India, and then I remember my samples, they came back just reeking of that like forever chemical. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
it's definitely not for me.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Yeah,
Wow.
I've made a lot of mistakes, but I've learned so much that it's helped
Sure.
what I have today.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the beauty of a mistake, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and you have to go through it. You have to learn, you know.
Mhm.
What has been the best part of running your own business and growing it?
Oh, seeing your hard work, and then I'm sorry, working so hard and then seeing people who don't know you own the company.
Mm.
I'll go to somebody like, oh man, I love your leggings. Like, oh my, yeah, I love this brand. It's called Coco On The Go, and it's just it's rewarding. It's like, okay, I'm doing well. Or I did a billboard in Times Square, and it was like, it was just so cool to
Mm.
see, and so amazing to be like, okay, I worked so hard on that photo shoot and that print and that design, and to see it up there so big, it's like,
Mm.
oh,
Mm.
okay.
Yeah. And to see people just walking around that, in it,
Yes.
in your clothes, you're like, oh my God, that's mine.
Yes. Uh-huh.
right?
And then the women when they're like, God, I love Coco because it's a thicker fabric, or I love it because it makes me feel so much better. Like I don't feel like I'm hanging out. Like I feel more confident in it. And I
Yeah.
okay, my
Yeah.
mission is translated correctly.
Yeah. You talk about that. I think, you were open about it that when you growing up, you didn't have a great self image. You
Mhm.
didn't have the confidence that, I mean, I don't know many teenagers that do, to be honest, or
Yeah.
many women who really do. I mean, we all
Yeah.
pretend sometimes we do, but,
Yes.
um, and that really affected to your decision on to pursue this.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
It really did. Being bullied and told you were only boobs because you're fat, or, you know, feeling so self-conscious in your own skin, it's the worst feeling because it really is debilitating. You just go throughout your day feeling not good
Yeah.
enough to, maybe start your business or start something you've always wanted because you're like, oh, but she's prettier and I'm never going to have that. It's that self-doubt that keeps people back.
Yeah.
And so when I wanted to launch my business, it was like I want people to feel so confident that they can pursue their dreams and just really be who they're meant to be and pursue what they're meant to pursue because they feel so good in their own skin.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's a
Yeah.
beautiful message. Yeah. That's
Thank you.
great. Yeah, no, that's beautiful because I feel like especially in athleisure workout clothes, like
Mhm.
there can be very tight, too tight, or just and you feel like you're exposed.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
totally do.
Yeah.
And yeah, I definitely am passionate about that though because it
Yeah.
definitely strikes a chord with me in the way I was brought up
Mhm.
and my self-doubts, and
Yeah.
it's the worst feeling.
Yeah. Where do you see yourself going? I know you said maybe a brick and mortar store, but where do you see this in like 5, 10 years?
In 5-10 years, I definitely see multiple bricks and mortar stores. I see just quadruple the amount of wholesale accounts I have. Um, I I just see it expanding beyond what it is. And
Mm.
it does, again, we all have those days where we are in self-doubt or we're like, oh,
Mm.
will it really grow?
Yeah.
And I see myself growing more confidently as well with
Mm.
as my brand grows too.
Yeah. You also talk about, I saw something that you said that, you do you ever think you're ready? Right? Do you ever think you're ready to pursue the dream? Like you mentioned, like, but don't wait for the right moment because the right moment never comes.
It
Right?
doesn't. No,
Yeah.
it really it doesn't. It never comes, and it never comes because if you're waiting for something specific to happen because in
Yeah.
your mind it has A has to line up with B to match C, you're always going to be stuck.
Yeah.
Where if you just do those like simple, it could be just Googling how to start something and
Mm.
then maybe printing out some ideas or keeping a vision board or your own like binder of things and every day just building upon itself.
Mhm.
I have a friend recently who got into peptides. And I remember when she first wanted to do it 6 months ago, she's like, no, there's so many influencers out there. There's so much misinformation. Like, no one's going to listen to me. And
Mm.
now, then she signed up for a course and then she finished her course. Then she reached out to a friend, husband who owns a plastic surgery. So she made all these small little steps. And now tomorrow is her first day working in the office and actually helping patients. And
Wow.
she's so excited. And
Yeah.
it came from so much self-doubt to finally making that one step, which was signing up for the courses to get
Yeah.
certified in it. And now I'm so proud of her. Tomorrow she gets to help people and
Yeah.
she's just elated.
Yeah. She's living the dream like you are. You're living the dream.
Yes.
You
Uh-huh.
know? I feel like that there's so many women, they love clothes and like, I should have a clothing line, but very few people actually do it, start it, and then become so successful as you have.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. It's hard. Like there's no
Yeah.
sugarcoating it. It is
Yeah.
hard, but
Yeah.
what's better to be mad at yourself for never
Mm.
pursuing your dreams or to have something hard? Like there's always
Yeah.
hard. Everything's going to be hard in life.
Yeah. What role does social media play in your growth strategy, especially now with AI blowing up in crazy ways. But do you think about that too? Do you have to?
Yeah. I mean, social media really is a great platform for my growth.
Yeah.
And I never, no, I don't think if, and maybe I'm misunderstanding the question, but I don't foresee AI
Yeah.
hindering my business.
Yeah.
It's really weird. You can actually go to studios now and use AI models for your clothing. And
Wow.
it, yeah, I've not, I'd rather a real model be in my clothes. I'm
Yeah.
still, I guess I'd be considered old school now for,
Yeah.
for wanting a real model. But yeah, it's crazy what you can do nowadays with AI.
Yeah.
But no, it's really a big tool for me. And it's a tool that I actually need to be better at tapping into. I would need to be the person that gets on my social media and makes an announcement of my upcoming collection and what inspired me. But I'm so bad at it. I get shy. I'm like, no, nobody wants to hear that, and then I shy away from it. But it's really something that I need
Mm.
to make a goal and write it down and just slowly start doing more things and using it as an asset, because it really is an asset.
Yeah, I think people would love to hear from you for sure, and your vision and what you love about the prints and the designs. Sure. My God.
It needs to be. And I know my social
Yeah.
media, I hired someone for social media and she's like, Nicole, you really need to start. I'm like, I know.
I know. Well,
Yeah,
when you're ready or more ready, you'll start.
I'll do
I
it.
mean, yeah. When
I'll
but
practice
you
what I preach. I'll put
yeah,
one together.
it's always hard to do that, right? It's always hard to do that. Um, so your brand message for women listening
Mhm.
is what?
My brand message is to really empower you in your daily activities, to empower you whether you're going to the gym and you want a better workout, to empower you if you're just doing errands,
Mm.
walking down the street, hitting whatever your goals are in life, no matter how small or how big. It's really just to empower you through your day and feel your best, look your best, feel your best. It's all connected.
I love that. Now, where can people find your products? Where can they shop?
They could go on cocoonthego.com would be the easiest, because then you can see all the retail stores that carry my line. And then on there is the full online store as well.
Oh, that's wonderful. And are you mostly, are you mostly West Coast or you're everywhere?
Now I'm everywhere. East Coast, West Coast, Central,
That's
everywhere.
so exciting. It's so
Yeah.
exciting. Yeah, definitely. All right. So I want to say, I think that's it for us, but
Okay.
a very big thank you, Nicole
Thank
Bowyer. This is wonderful. Thank you for coming on the show, sharing your incredible story, your vision, your dream, and the empire that you're growing.
I'm so honored to be on your show. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm Jill Conway. Thank you so much for listening to the show, celebrating incredible women like Nicole. I hope you're inspired to pursue your own goals, believe in yourself, and dream bigger. Your voice matters, and your story can help others. I hope you join me next time, and please follow us both on Instagram.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicole.